Warning, this discusses racism, controversial political topics, and overall things that make a lot of people mad. Viewer discretion is advised. Also, please don't start political fights in the comments if you can avoid it. I would also appreciate it if you watched the full video. Thank you. Okay, I guess we're a drama channel now, everyone. For those of you who don't know, there's been some unsavory rumors going around about me and screenshots of my Discord that look pretty bad. I normally wouldn't give stuff like this attention, but given the fact that apparently almost 300 people believe this, I'm going to have to set things straight. I can't have people thinking that we have racists running the Hetalia fandom. I understand wanting to call out problematic behavior when you see it. I would want to do the same thing too. But if you're not sure about something, maybe ask or do more research before putting out stuff like this and accusing people of being racist. I mean, you're allowed to not like me and still like Hetalia. I don't care. But trying to cancel me over something like this and ruining my livelihood is another thing. Also, harassing my fans, harassing the mods, and a lot of other things. It's all gone too far, and I have no choice, but I have to make a video about it. Before I can explain the drama caused by the people that I am not going to name because I'm not going to give them that attention that they want, if you know the people that I'm talking about, please don't harass them. Let's not stoop to their level. Just leave them alone. This was probably just a big misunderstanding anyways. I mean, I understand. I hate racists too, and I don't want them in my community. So, it's about time that I explain everything. First, let's start with this post. This is the main post. Why you should be wary of Hedefax. A brief summary. Hedefax, also known by Colco, is an American-based, I've never listed my ethnicity, YouTuber who specializes in Hetalia videos. Being one of the most popular creators in the Hetalia fandom, it'd be common sense for you to expect that she's a responsible and agreeable person. However, you'd be mistaken. Fuck you, I'm giving you a funny voice because I want to. This video is going to be boring otherwise. Exhibit A, her fetishization of Asians. There's not much to say since the screenshot speaks for itself. The phrasing of my current Asian doesn't help her case, and it is objectifying and dehumanizing. This should go without saying, but Asian people are not something to be possessed. They are people just like anyone else, and Colco's obsession with them insinuates that she views them as props to be discarded or replaced. Okay, let's go over this. Admittedly, I could have worded this better. But if you knew the context of it, you would know why I wrote what I wrote. Warning, there's going to be some serious sensitive topics here. So, as you can read from the post above, my parents, more specifically my mother, said some pretty racist things about my current boyfriend who is Korean. As you may or may not know, the last few people I've dated just so happened to be Asian. I didn't actively seek them out because they are Asian. That's just how it happened. And so there's a running joke that my partners get progressively more and more Asian, and it appears that I'm only dating Asian men, when in reality I don't pick them because they're Asian. I like them and they just so happen to be Asian. But the joke is that people think I have a thing for Asians, even though it's really just a coincidence. I literally said something along these lines in the rest of the conversation, which you, once again, took out of context. I literally said this in the next sentence with the whole "just not white guys" comment. That literally implies that I don't have a fetish for Asians. Basically, I was implying that I have less incentive to date my own race because it fulfills my parents' racist wishes. And that, hey, if they're going to be like that, maybe I'll just date Asians out of spite and never date a European again. It was kind of a part of the joke. Another thing is that Asian men have a lot of stigma, and a lot of people stereotype them negatively if they aren't K-pop idols or Japanese. They're often portrayed as a nerdy sidekick or creepy in most media. And I think they deserve better representation in media and society. Again, you would know this if you knew me pretty well. So I try to comment on positive aspects about them as much as I can. Because they're very underappreciated in my opinion. I do the same thing with short men as well, of all races. Was it a poor choice of words? Yes. I get how you would mistake this as me fetishizing a certain race. I'm sorry, I should have worded it a bit better, but I was really, really mad at my parents for saying that, which is why this was in the vent category. I was really angry and really hurt that my parents said something like that, so I wasn't really thinking about what exactly I was saying. I should have worded it a bit better, but in the words of the drama that I experienced last month, fuck you, I love my boyfriend, he loves me, and we're not breaking up! Exhibit B, her skepticism of BLM. There are screenshots of Hetifax condemning Trump, which is ironic as her Law and Order rant is very similar to Trump's sort of rhetoric. Law and Order has also become a dog whistle for pro-police brutality as of late. And how is Kolko, a cis-het white woman, slandering BLM protesters as a whole for one single experience her family faced? These people are rioting for basic human rights. Change doesn't happen peacefully. Okay, this was taken way out of context, and the whole story isn't even explained. This is very clearly taken out of context. There's just so much wrong with what this person is saying here, and it can all be explained with these screenshots. For those of you who don't know, my family has had a rough history with BLM to the point where we can't talk about it at home without my parents going nuts. My brother used to live in a city where racial tensions are really bad. Gang violence was really high. There were a lot of drive-by shootings. A lot of my brother's classmates were killed. And my brother lived in a not-so-nice area. My brother was shot at, called names, chased down by people who wanted to hurt him. Someone he knew had a gun held to his head during the Ferguson riots, and all because he was the wrong race in the wrong area. And then this summer happened, and the anarchists that co-opted BLM came pretty close to our home and endangered my parents' lives and their business. It was more than a single incident, and it really brought out the ugly side in my family. I have never argued so much with my family than when I did this summer. I never knew my parents were capable of saying such things that I heard. It broke my heart. You literally ignored the fact that I said I don't blame BLM for what happened to my brother, my family, or the rioting, and that I fully support the organization and what it stands for. You just took everything out of context to make me look bad. I support BLM and what they stand for. I just hate the, more often than not, white people that condone attacking businesses of people that have nothing to do with the incident. I don't know about you, but I don't support ruining the livelihoods of people of color for no reason. If you want to take out your anger, do it to the people that actually have something to do with the situation. That's what happened during the Stonewall riots, one of the most pivotal points in gay rights history. They targeted and took over the police station. They didn't attack innocent people and burn down their businesses. My main point is, if you absolutely must use violence to get your point across, and peace has not worked, use the violence towards the right people at the very least. Don't turn people against you by attacking the people that had nothing to do with this. Again, I would not say I am skeptical of BLM. I'm not. I just don't support violence of any kind. Is that so bad? Is that so controversial? Is that worth canceling me over? If you spaced out during that, I am not anti-BLM. I am anti-anarchist. Also, this entire conversation was about the Trump riots, where I discussed how upset I was that the Trump coup was being compared to the BLM riots. And I was talking about how they're not the same because the Trump people invaded the Capitol building, endangering government secrets and the security of the nation, not to mention countless lawmakers. And that's much more severe than anything BLM did. Or at least the people that claim to be part of BLM but are really just anarchists taking advantage of the movement just to destroy shit. I wouldn't call them true members. That whole law and order sentence thing, that was referring to the Trump supporters. Again, you would know that if you read the full story. But don't you dare compare me to Trump and his supporters. I assure you, you are probably more pro-Trump than I am. And also, I am not cishet. Nice try, though. Now to address something that's even more controversial. This thing. You can see that this mod has only been a mod for a few days, to be fair, was responding to these people making fun of the fact that they were from France. This was after trying to tell them that they were violating the rules numerous times. And these people said some things that the mod thought were offensive, so they tried to make a comparison. Now, I admit the mod could have handled this better, and I chastised this mod for how they handled this. Because, yeah, that was pretty bad, not the best way to handle this. But OP here says the context doesn't matter and that, get this, they should be allowed to disrespect and make prejudiced remarks against people from Europe because Europeans were all colonizers and therefore can't be insulted. I'm sorry, what? You can be insulting and disrespectful towards anyone. I condemn what this mod did because this stereotype in particular is a very, very harmful one towards Asian people. And it was taken a little bit too far. But the fact that they treated my mods like, oh, you're European, I can insult you all I want. You can be disrespectful towards anyone. In addition, not all European countries colonized. I thought this was common sense. Not all Europeans are descended from colonizers. I'm not. My ancestors were poor Polish farmers who fled their country due to oppression. My ancestors didn't do jack shit. That's insulting to compare people like us to colonizers. Especially since you said that to someone whose family survived through the Balkan Wars. I would not make fun of that. That war happened less than 30 years ago. The Balkans have been under someone else's rule for over 1,000 years and gained their independence a bit over 100 years ago. Throughout the Ottoman rule, they were brutally oppressed. And then there was that massive war less than 30 years ago. And then you have the nerve to say that these people are colonizers and that you get to insult them all you want? No, that's very distasteful. Also, not everyone from Europe is white. So, way to assume their race. What, do you think there's no people of color in Europe? It's almost as if the entire world isn't the United States. Your level of Americentrism is insulting. Getting back to the story, there are two sides to every story. Has anyone even wondered why this person posted this? It's possible that this is just a misunderstanding and that they really wanted to keep racists out of their fandom. But It also may be because they were mad that they got kicked from my Discord server. I wasn't there when all the drama was going down, but from what I read and what my mods told me, they were being disrespectful, breaking the rules repeatedly, backtalking, ignoring, disrespecting and mocking the mods, not moving servers when told to repeatedly, and posting a lot of uncomfortable content in the servers. To be fair, the two mods that this person mostly interacted with were fairly new to being mods. I mean, I had just granted them that position that week because we needed more mods in that time zone because, as you could see, we're quite understaffed. And apparently, the person who made this post specifically kept abusing one of my mods as triggers even after they were told to stop, to the point where one mod left the server permanently. And they never apologized for it. At least not that I know of. Maybe my mods overreacted when kicking some of the people. But you have to understand that they were really overwhelmed with all the chaos going on. When you insult anyone based on their race and ethnicity, they're probably not going to like you. I'm sorry, but that does not make you a saint. It's one of the biggest rules of my server. Respect the mods and don't be a dick. You would have known that if you actually read the rules. This person also claims that people were making KKK headcanons, which I haven't seen any proof of. I mean, you know how vigilant my mods are. They would know if something like that happened. That shit would not fly in my server, and it doesn't fly with me. I mean, if you see something like that, tell somebody. It's hard for the mods to not catch things like that, but by all means, if we miss it, if you see anything like that, tell us. We'll take care of it. If you saw something, please let us know instead of assuming such horrible things about us. Sorry that the shipping awards have been delayed. They were supposed to come out tomorrow, but then I got dragged into this mess. All because someone was salty about being banned on my server. I get that you probably came from good intentions. I'm willing to forgive you if you apologize, even though you really hurt me. I'm sorry if anything that I said struck a chord with someone. I'm sorry if you found any of my remarks offensive. I assure you that was not my intent. I still have some bad communication skills, but I'm getting better. I mean, compared to other YouTubers out there, I think the stuff that's on me is pretty tame. I mean, at least I'm not some closet manipulator like Onision or something. All I did was joke about how many Asians I've dated and say that I don't like violence against people that have nothing to do with the situation. That's not all that controversial, so I'm feeling pretty good about myself. Again, still sorry if anything I've said or anything I do say in the future offends anyone. Just tell me and I'll stop. At least I'm willing to change and own up to my mistakes. And I'm still learning things. My social cues may not be the best, but I'm trying. If you find my views reprehensible and don't want to watch my content anymore, that's fine. I get it. You can dislike me and still like Hitalia. I am not the Hitalia fandom, which a lot of people seem to think that I am. But you're not here for my politics. You're here for my Hitalia content. So hopefully, even if we disagree, I hope you can still enjoy my content. Thank you for listening to me, and I hope that I clarified some things that really needed to be clarified. Thank you for watching, and hopefully the shipping awards will be out soon.